In the town of Abbotsford, an unspeakable crime has been committed.
911 emergency, go ahead.
Are you having trouble finding the killer?
When police try to track down the killer, a deadly game of cat and mouse ensues. Can new and untried forensic techniques stop him before he strikes again? Enter the world of forensic science, the science of crime, where a suspect's guilt or innocence can hang on a single piece of evidence. Major crimes like rape and murder happen in big cities, right? That's what the people who live in Abbotsford, British Columbia thought, until the fall of 1995. At 4 a.m. on October 14th, the staff on duty at the Abbotsford Hospital is shocked when a young woman stumbles into emergency. She's been beaten within an inch of her life. Her name is Laura Coburn. She's only 16 years old. Inspector Rod Gell receives the call.
They said she was mentioning being attacked by an individual with a baseball bat. She also said that her girlfriend was still in the bushes over by the school.
Her missing friend is another 16-year-old, Kathy Black. Police mount a search in the nearby park that Laura has identified, but they find no sign of Kathy. Then at 8:30 that morning, just outside of Abbotsford, local fishermen inform police that they found the naked body of a teenage girl floating in the Vedder River. Kathy Black is no longer missing. One girl murdered, one clinging to life by a thread. Not the kind of news Abbotsford is used to.
Abbotsford is, generally speaking, a fairly quiet community, and so it was a shock to the police department. It was a shock to the entire community to have this kind of a crime take place.
The first step in a police investigation: isolate the crime scene and comb it for evidence. But Gell doesn't have the exact crime scene, only the general area of the park that Laura directed them to. Her memory of the attack is hazy due to the extreme physical and emotional trauma she suffered. In spite of this, Laura tries to help police by reconstructing the night of the murder. She tells Gell that the night of the attack, Kathy's mother dropped her off at Laura's house. The girls were planning to go to a schoolmate's birthday party. Later that night, they were walking to the party when a man jumped out at them from the bushes. Laura says the man asked them if they wanted to party with them. They said no. Then he went crazy. She tells Gell that the attacker threatened both of them with a baseball bat and pushed them through the bushes. At some point, Laura realized he'd put down the baseball bat so he could rape Kathy. She was terrified, but Laura grabbed the bat and took a swing at him. The next thing she remembers is the bat coming at her. Then everything goes blank. Gell sees from the state of Laura's damaged memory that he's going to need more than her testimony to catch this killer. He's going to need physical evidence. He hopes the autopsy on Laura's friend Kathy will provide it. Horrifying as her baseball bat injuries are, pathologists discover that the cause of death was drowning. Kathy was still alive when the killer dumped her into the river. Police find no semen from the rape, but the attacker left behind a possible clue, a bite mark on the body. Gell decides the bite mark will be holdback evidence, evidence not revealed to the public. So he calls in Dr. David Sweet, a forensic odontologist.
I was contacted in order to evaluate the bite mark evidence on the body and determine its forensic significance. In other words, was there enough definition and distinct detail recorded in the bite mark to be able to compare to a suspect's teeth?
Sweet takes photographs of the bite mark on the body. From this, he has a picture of the attacker's teeth that can be compared to any suspect's teeth. But Dr. Sweet's investigation doesn't stop there. He's developed a new technique to collect DNA evidence from bites.
I developed a technique called the double swab technique, which was revolutionary in terms of collecting more of the salivary evidence from any substrate, including DNA-rich skin.
He uses the double swab technique for the first time on Kathy Black.
I was able to find a method of rehydrating the cells that are on the surface of the skin and then collecting them with a second swab that's dry and acts like a sponge.
Because they estimate Kathy's body had been in the water for at least 4 hours, it's unlikely that there will be any DNA residue left for Dr. Sweet to recover.
The result came back, and there was DNA on these swabs and recovered from saliva that had been deposited on the bite mark. There was actually nobody more surprised than me.
So now they have the killer's DNA and his tooth impressions, both unique, both irrefutable methods of identifying a suspect. But there are no suspects, and in 1995, the DNA database doesn't exist. Police open a hotline for tips from the public. Then 4 days later after the attack, a call to the tip hotline gives investigators a shock.
Beside a walkway that runs north-south on a grassy knoll behind trees. I'm the killer.
I just happened to be the one that picked that phone call up, and it was the individual saying, I know where the murder happened. He said, beside a walkway that runs north-south, behind trees on a grassy knoll. I asked, where are you getting this from? And he said, gave the information, he said, I'm the killer, and gave the information about the bite mark. We played the tape over several times, wondering if it could possibly be a hoax. And then, because the phone call came on the 18th of October, we'd only just learned about the bite mark ourselves on the 17th. So we were certain that the person that made the phone call, if not being the perpetrator, had very intimate knowledge of the crime.
Police trace the call to a phone booth in a nearby park. They ask around for witnesses, but they come up empty. They dust the phone booth for prints, but find none. Then they receive a second call.
A couple hours later, another phone call was received from the individual saying, do you think I'd be stupid enough to leave fingerprints behind when I make a phone call? This individual had been watching us from somewhere when we were in the process of looking at that telephone.
Killers who play cat and mouse with police are commonplace in fiction. But in real life, most homicide detectives will never face the situation that Gell and his task force now confront. The killer calls again.
Want to provide information to our members?
No, I'm the one. You're giving you the chance to try and find me. I'll be cruising around looking for someone else.
He says he's still in town, and his killing spree isn't over yet. Nobody in Abbotsford thought things could get worse, but the killer's playing a deadly game, and he's just raised the stakes even higher. The Abbotsford killer is threatening to strike again because Laura has information about the killer. Police now fear more than ever for her safety. After nearly 3 weeks, she's still in the hospital under armed guard. Police decide to go public about the phone calls to warn the community that the mysterious caller has threatened to kill again. The town takes cover, realizing that the killer is out there, possibly one of their neighbors. Gell is feeling the pressure as thousands of tips pour in. He needs a way to sort through all this information. He brings in psychological profiler Glenn Woods to help analyze the killer's state of mind.
It was hard to get a read on him, and quite frankly, as we got further on, this here idea of him making calls to the police in some ways was counter or contradictory to the kinds of things that we would have expected him to do. He was taking some major chances because he knew the police were going to the phone booths, and he would still do it. Why would he keep phoning? Because he liked it. What's he doing? He's getting attention. The more media, the more press, that's his gratification now.
Gell also consults with another kind of profiler. He's heard about a police officer in nearby Vancouver named Kim Rossmo, who's developed a new forensic tool called Geographic profiling. He invites Rossmo to test his technology in Abbotsford.
Geographic profiling is based primarily on crime pattern theory, as even with random, so-called random crimes or stranger events, there's still a logic, a pattern to where crimes occur.
Kim Rossmo uses his innovative methods to zero in on the probable area where the killer lives. He maps locations where they know the killer has been, from the crime scene itself to his subsequent phone calls.
Those locations get fed into a computer system called Rigel. Rigel produces for us what we call a jeopardy surface, a three-dimensional probability surface showing the most likely area of offender residence.
Rossmo has advice for the police.
So step one is look in Abbotsford. Don't be looking in Vancouver or any of the other suburbs.
Over a month since the attack, he's threatened to kill again. And police are no closer to identifying him. The killer's game of cat and mouse is meant to taunt and terrify. Gell searches for a way to turn the game against him. He focuses on the killer's phone calls, planning another radical move. He decides to release the tapes to a local radio station and let the public hear the killer's voice.
Go ahead.
Are you having trouble finding the killer?
I'm not sure you want to provide information. Do you remember it?
No. I'm the one. I'm giving you the chance to try and find me.
The thing about the phone calls is that it did create an investigative strategy for us. It enabled us to utilize the strategy of voice identification. It was our hope that if we played the tapes back to the community, somebody in the community would say, hey, I know who that is, and give us an identification.
But the tape is of very poor quality. Police receive a lot of tips, but still no solid leads. The case generates so much interest, police get an offer of help from a composite artist who worked on the Unabomber case, among many others.
He worked with the girl for several hours, and she produced a composite with him that she gave a 9 out of 10. She thought it was very, very close to the person that had attacked her. So we released that to the media, and a matter of 3 days after we released this composite, we got a tip, or several tips, identifying an individual that was a look-alike.
His name is Gregory Vanders, and he has a history of attacking people with a baseball bat. Police picked Vanders up, hoping that at last they found the Abbotsford killer. Vanders insists on his innocence and offers full cooperation, including providing dental impressions and DNA. Gell calls in Dr. Sweet again.
I went to the police lockup, met the suspect, introduced myself, and told him why I was there, that I was to take some dental impressions, poured up a positive cast, inserted a piece of wax into his mouth and had him bite into that so that I had both impressions of his upper and lower teeth as well as how they fit together.
From the mold of Vanders' teeth, Sweet makes a plaster set which he can compare to the bite mark on Kathy's body.
And I concluded that he wasn't the bite mark perpetrator. And I reported that to the police officers, and they said, okay, thank you, that's a great conclusion. We'll keep that in mind, and we'll wait for the DNA results to come back.
When the DNA results arrive, they do not match the DNA found in the bite mark on Kathy's body. Vanders is released in January 1996, 3 months after Kathy's murder. Laura, finally out of the hospital, is in hiding with her family. Abbotsford is still living in fear, while Gell is watching the case go cold right before his eyes. Police haven't heard from the killer since Vanders' arrest. As bizarre as the calls have been, any contact with the killer is better than this long silence. Why has he gone underground? Has he left town? Gell could never have guessed what would happen next. February 17th, 4 months after the rape and murder, the elusive Abbotsford killer makes his next move. A DJ at a local radio station right in the middle of downtown Abbotsford gets a strange call telling him to go out and check his car. In the parking lot, he finds Kathy Black's defaced headstone carefully placed on the hood of his car, in broad daylight on a busy Saturday afternoon.
We conducted an investigation that we could to determine if anybody had seen anyone around the graveyard or anyone dropping the stone off, and everything was negative. So we were starting to think that this guy was invisible, you know, that he was able to move about like this and nobody saw him. It was on the 19th of February that we received our 5th phone call.
911 emergency. Do you need police, fire, ambulance?
How would you like my present I gave you guys?
I'm sorry, sir. I can't hear you, sir.
How'd you like my present I gave you guys?
I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Okay, sir. Just a minute.
And in that phone call, the individual said, "How do you like the present I left you guys? It won't be the last."
He's true to his word. Less than 2 weeks later, a call comes in reporting that a wrench has been thrown through the window of a house in a quiet Abbotsford neighborhood. There's an envelope wrapped around it with instructions attached. Once again, an outrageous act with no witnesses. Gell sends the killer's latest present to the forensic team. Forensic technicians very carefully take the package apart and discover newspaper clippings and a letter. In the letter, he confesses to 3 other sexual assaults on women in Abbotsford during the previous few years. Police verify these alleged assaults. They were less violent attacks, attempts to fondle or kiss women near a bus station. Meanwhile, forensic testing continues on the wrench, the letters, and the tape the killer used to hold it all together. The technicians turn up a surprising new lead. Exhibit A, the killer's fingerprint, found on the tape clear as day. Finally, police believe they've got him. All they have to do is search the fingerprint databases to find his identity.
That was a very exciting thing for us because we thought that the individual that we were dealing with very likely had a previous criminal record.
While Gell waits for the results of the fingerprint search, he goes back to the Geographic profiler, Kim Rosmo, with new information. Rosmo now has several locations to plot on his map. The crime scene itself, the place where the body was disposed, a series of public payphones, the radio station parking lot, the house he threw the wrench into, and the earlier minor assault sites that police have verified.
So this is the series of locations that I had available to me, the ones that I used in the construction of the Geographic profile. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sites. So we can see the area that we're the most interested in the northwest part of the city.
Rosmo has narrowed down his projection of where the killer lives to a few city blocks. If Gell had a suspect, this information would help him confirm that he was, in fact, the killer. But he doesn't have a suspect. Then there's bad news. The fingerprint searches have come up empty. Gell and his task force were sure this killer had some kind of a criminal past. If he did, he's never been caught. Despite all the evidence police have amassed, they seem to be back at square one. In a last-ditch attempt to get a good lead from the public, police decide to rebroadcast the tape of the killer's phone calls. This time, they remove the background noise, hoping that a better quality audio sample will be more recognizable.
Are you having trouble finding the killer?
I'm not sure you wanted to provide information through to our members?
No. I'm the one.
You're the...
Giving you the chance to try and find me. I'll be cruising around looking for someone else.
7 months after the murder, the tape goes on air again. On the same day, police receive a call from a woman who claims to recognize the voice. She says it's her son. Finally, police have a suspect. His name is Terry Driver. He's 31 years old, married with 2 young children. A former Boy Scout leader, the son of a retired cop. A seemingly ordinary man with a family and a steady job. No one's idea of a rapist or a murderer. and he looks nothing like the composite drawing. Police can't assume he's the killer. They decide to approach him. He agrees to cooperate with police and accompanies them to the station, where he gives fingerprints, but significantly, he refuses to give a DNA sample.
He was arrested that same day because the fingerprint was a match, and held in custody, and DNA warrants were obtained.
The bite mark and DNA tests come back positive. The evidence against him is overwhelming. When the identity of the Abbotsford killer is finally revealed to the public, no one in town can believe it. Police consider Terry Driver an anomaly, someone who confounds all their understanding of criminal behavior. Community and police try to put the picture together. How could a man who seems so normal be such a brutal killer? Even the psychological profiler can only guess at the answers.
I mean, the moniker Abbotsford Killer was perfect for, in his view, that couldn't have been, he couldn't have written in suggesting a name for himself. I mean, that was perfect for him. I mean, the attention he was getting, and what people who have that look for that kind of attention, they don't have much in their own lives going on, you know? They probably haven't accomplished much in their life. So when they get a little grasp that 15 minutes of fame, they try to keep it.
The cat and mouse game is over for Terry Driver. By using a combination of traditional police work and several untried, unusual methods, Gell has got him. Terry Driver is found guilty of first-degree murder in the death of Kathy Black, as well as the attempted murder of Laura Coburn. Later, he's convicted of the earlier assaults, and he's declared a dangerous offender, which puts him away for the rest of his life. With Driver behind bars, the town of Abbotsford can finally rest. But their illusion about the safety of small-town life has been permanently shattered by the killer next door. The stories on Exhibit A are based on true cases. The forensic scientists and investigators are the actual individuals who worked on the cases. The names of the victims are fictitious. The names of the guilty are real.